Hi, people. I hope you're all doing well. I kind of got caught a little unprepared. So just give me 2 seconds. That's right. Goodbye to 2022. I think 2023 is going to be the absolute very best year yet for everything, for everyone. We just got to be positive and look for the future and leave all this other stuff behind. Okay, so give me just 1 second. I'm tempted to play my intro again because I didn't get my notes pulled up that I had. Hold on. And I need to turn my TV off so y'all can't hear all that talking on there. Okay, so yes, everyone is talking about the Idaho 4 killer. And I think, so I watched Grizzly True Crime, and she had a guest. John Kelly was on there. It was very incredibly interesting, obviously. But I don't know. There were a few things that were, how do I want to say this? Just a little. Well, first of all, I thought there were, I think between my point of view and what I've put out and John Kelly, that I was happy to see that there was a lot of parallel, right? We're pretty much tuned in on the same types of things. There were a couple of things though that I thought were, I don't know, maybe a little less definitive. Now, obviously, you can't really be definitive at this point. The guy's only been arrested for what, going on 24 hours, and and we don't have any kind of information, background, and history for any intent. Well, compared to what we'll end up getting ultimately. There certainly was this evening, there was definitely a landslide of new information coming out that that I want to comment on as well. But I thought that from a psychological point of view, theory wise, established research and that sort of thing, I just sort of felt like they could have been a little bit more direct. We are having someone setting off fireworks. It sounds like our house is on fire. Okay, it's not. There's somebody just right outside that are, I know. Hold on, my dog's freaking out. 1 minute. Sorry. So sorry about that. The dog was afraid. Okay. So I thought what I would do is I'd just go, pure theory right now, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Bryan. But I just thought, why not? So a lot of people talk about the Dark Triad. Even today during the live, there were some people that were going, "What are you talking about?" Jules thought, "What do you mean by the Dark TETRAD?" I'm trying to learn the Dark Triad and Machiavellianism, and what do you mean the Tetrad? So Delroy Paulus and Kevin Williams they were first published regarding discussion about the Dark Triad and psychological reactants. There's a mountain of empirical research at this point addressing these although offensive personality types, they're typically considered non-pathological. And those would be Machiavellianism a subclinical level of narcissism, and then a subclinical level of psychopathy. And you go, what? Well, how can psychopathy be subclinical? Well, to be fair, we all, as a natural part of our personality, just being human, we all have an element of narcissism. We all have an element of Machiavellianism. We all have an element of psychopathy. But for diagnostic purposes or for consideration of clinical treatment and such, you would want those naturally existing, although not desirable, personality features to reach a high enough level that they then begin to interfere with healthy, day-to-day living, I suppose, correct? It's not all going to be this boring. If you guys will just bear with me, it's not going to be all preachy, classroomy. So I know it's boring for a second, but just hang there and we'll get to this whole thing. So for Paulus and Williams, and the research then that followed, there was really this focus on callous and manipulative people, or let me say callous and manipulative relationship style for a subclinical type of non-pathology, things that are inherent in each of us to a limited degree, and how those things can interfere with or contribute to relationships, which would include not only interpersonal relationships, but even work type relationships. How are you functioning in the workplace? Things like that. They've even looked at these reactants as who believes in conspiracy theories, if people are really high in Machiavellianism and narcissism, are they more likely to believe what's now known as a conspiracy theory? So they've got some pretty crazy research. It's kind of fun, to read about if you want to. Now I'm talking about the Dark Triad, so just stay with me. I'm going to get to the Tetrad, but right now I'm talking about the Triad. So after scores and mountains of research and thousands, tens of thousands of data points, the factor analysis ultimately used in a Big Five personality model found that low levels of agreeableness is the strongest correlation to a dark triad. So if you're low in agreeableness, then you're most likely to, demonstrate this non-pathological array of personality factors or types and the three are Machiavellianism, non-clinical, or I should say subclinical psychopathy, and then subclinical narcissism. So then you say, well, yeah, but what does that have to do with the tetrad? Well, the tetrad is actually 9. 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. So the Dark Triad is now it takes into account 9 different factors, and they added, the researchers, and it's a fairly recent addition empirically, but they've added a 4th dark trait, and that would be sadism. And I especially like that they added sadism because I think that accounts now for a more pathological picture, right? And when you consider serial killers, the sadistic element is there. So the Dark Triad is well researched, but it was always intended, if you go back to the original researchers, it was always intended to be in consideration of the subclinical groups. with the Dark Tetrad, taking into account these 9 very specific characteristics, they could add the 4th dark trait, and that is sadism. It's defined as, in just simplicity, an enjoyment of cruelty. It is, sadism was so highly correlated with the Dark Triad that researchers decided, this is probably the best predictor of antisocial behavior after we control for the elements in the Dark Triad. The addition of sadism actually gives us a way to look at sociopathy, and then, of course, the big one, neurologically, which would be considered psychopathy. So sadism shares common characteristics with psychopathy and antisocial behavior. Antisocial behavior is characterized by this idea of inflicting suffering. You lack empathy for the person that you're hurting, and yet you're still kind of engaging in some emotional involvement. In all truth, y'all, sadistic behavior is pretty pathological. It's pretty gross. It does kind of predict unprovoked aggression that would be separate from psychopathy. In other words, those people who are seeking to hurt others for the sheer pleasure and enjoyment of either inflicting the pain, which could account for power and control, or enjoying seeing someone uncomfortable and hurt. It's fairly disturbing when you run across a sadistic person. It should be unnerving when you encounter someone who not only would intentionally inflict pain and suffering on another person. If you witness someone who sees someone in pain or someone suffering and they smile, like if they're watching someone being bullied, they're watching someone being humiliated, and they have a smile on their face, you should put as much distance between you and that person as humanly possible. It's pretty unnerving if you pay attention and you pick those people out. So it's not just that the person inflicts the pain. It could actually just be that they are just an observer, an uninvolved, unengaged observer, but they're witnessing someone that's being harmed. And that can be psychological harm and suffering. That could be physiological pain and suffering, emotional pain and suffering. Just to see somebody whimper and cry can be sufficient to make a sadist heart just fill with joy. They just like it. It's like blood in the water to a shark. They come across the scent of blood and they go into a frenzy. And their frenzy can be so complete that they'll actually eat other sharks, other like family members. They'll not attack other sharks at any other time than when they find themselves in this frenzy of the scent of blood. And so I think about that when you see someone, if you are a narcissist, if you're a psychopath, if you are Machiavellian, but then you have a sadistic element, you run across someone that you can see or discern some level of suffering, that can make you the worst person that you are. And it seems automatic. It doesn't seem that they have control over that, right? You and I get hurt and we think to ourselves, I want vengeance. I'm going to make them sorry that they hurt me. I'm going to go for them, right? And then you begin to plan that out and plot that out. But there's something inside of you and it goes, hold on, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Your filters come up and you think, well, I would like that, but I don't really want to hurt somebody. Like, I would like to go after them. I don't really want to do that. I would like to punch them in the nose. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And so you may want that. It might, the idea of being avenged for some harm that was done upon you, that may put you in a situation that you want to do that. But if you're, a fairly healthy person, then you kind of stand back and go, oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't really want to engage in that. And we kind of avoid it. People that are sadistic, hell, they'll cause others pain if they think it's going to get them more views on YouTube. If they're trucking along with a YouTube channel and they get to noticing and they go, wow, my views are really down. Like, this is kind of crazy. Why are people not looking at my things? Oh, I know what I'll do. I need to inject a little drama into my channel. And if I inflict a little bit of drama, then I'll get people to come in, because everybody likes, a train wreck, right? Everybody wants to rush in and watch some YouTube creator screaming and freaking out or crying or, whatever kind of hot mess or spicy disaster they can find. And I've actually seen creators that would choose someone unknowingly. They would choose one of their subscribers, one of their panel people. They'd get them up on panel for all the world to see. And then they would have like 3, 4, 7 other panel members attack and ostracize and humiliate this person into tears. And it was great for views. Oh, people had to come running in to see the show. But that one person was devastated. That one person was absolutely devastated from the public humiliation and, of course, the ensuing shame that is designed to do. So it, you see that sort of behavior. Someone who openly loves that infliction of public shame on another person, run, don't walk away, because that's a scary person that's really capable of a lot of pain. Now, I'm not talking about someone who has been harmed and bullied and vilified and slandered and been subjected to the very worst that, psychological manipulation has to offer. That person finding their story, standing up and saying, this happened to me and it's my story and it was wrong and I don't like it, and this is the proof that I have. That is not what I'm talking about. That is someone who is simply saying, this happened to me, here's the proof that it happened to me, and this matters, and I'm going to court. That is different than someone that will watch another person cry and weep and they will smile about it. They will like it and enjoy it. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So the addition of sadism as a fourth element to the Dark Triad brings the whole Dark Triad theory up into the pathological clinical range and accounts for 9 common characteristics. All right. Let's see. I do want to take just a second. I know we throw around the word narcissism quite a bit. Psychopathy gets a little bit more attention, though not as much, I think, is what's interesting. It's actually an incredibly interesting phenomenon. People just haven't educated themselves much about it. Narcissism is overused and more misunderstood. And it might be helpful to consider that narcissism and psychopathy exist in 2 different states. Same with Machiavellianism, but you don't really think of Machiavellianism as being clinical or pathological. Now, it can be. You would consider somebody that was Machiavellian in terms of a pathological level of Machiavellianism. You just say that person's antisocial, right? But definitely with narcissism, you should consider that there is a clinical level of narcissism that would put it into a diagnostic category and a treatment protocol. And then there would be a non-pathological or a subclinical, where it's just a personality trait. And you do have people that can be high in narcissism, but still subclinical. Yeah, it's just that if you look at it, if you use a big 5 model of personality, narcissism would be one that would be considered, high. Usually people high in narcissism are fairly moderate to low in agreeableness, but not always. Sometimes they come across, they sense the need to be agreeable, because if you're more agreeable, people are more likely to give you what you want. So, this is a personality is a complicated area of psychology that takes years and years of study and understanding. There's no easy primer on how to do it. You start basic, and then you become more and more complicated, and what really is probably more accurate to say in depth. So I hope, okay, so I'm going to stop for a minute because my throat is hurting, and I'm going to look at some of your comments and see, does that clear up the confusion about Jules, why are you using the term Dark Tetrad rather than Dark Dark Triad? So I'm going to put my notes up there. I wasn't going by notes a while ago. I got to start using my notes. I got to quit doing it off the top of my head, especially when I'm sick. Oh, don't tell me I'm not. All right, can y'all hear me? Yeah, you should be able to hear me. Veronica said, what a nice compliment. As I was driving, he wrote down your directions while we were catching up on BBT's lives. Trust he's already made the grocery list. Wish me luck. Yeah, I agree, Cree, about reality television is watching people suffer both mentally and emotionally. And you're 100% right. And I'm actually really disturbed by how much reality television is out there. Confession, I got the people pleaser behaviors. What is confession? Did he confess? That's kind of crazy that he confessed already. Are y'all sure? Confessed. I'm not finding what y'all are talking about. No. No, he's not in Idaho, Veronica. Okay, hold on. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, put a 1, please. Oh, okay. So never mind. Okay. So it's all Lacanian psychology. Okay. So welcome, Lipcom. So this guy has his extradition hearing at 3:30 Eastern on Tuesday, the 3rd. Welcome. Oh, look, there's Martin and Big Ups and You're Too Mean and Cheryl and Team Doocy Doo, Donna Carter, Veronica, Cinnamon, Hot, Elizabeth, Denise, Boston, or as she's affectionately known, Double D. Okay. The only thing now we found out is his lawyer said the dad flew to Idaho to help him drive back to Pennsylvania. Lord. Hey, Gearhead, Burden of Proof, welcome. Truth Seeker, nice to have you. Welcome, Diana and Angelina ETF. Hey. Okay, now then, I apologize for the quality of my voice. It's awful, truly. Okay, so the Dark TETRAD, 9 factors that describe the antisocial personality traits of narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and now the addition of sadism. It is the addition of sadism that that takes it from the subclinical or pathological Dark Triad, and it turns it into a more pathological or clinical level that we affectionately call the Dark TETRAD. While all 4 of the traits, that's actually the wrong word, while all 4 of the conditions describe people who are prone to cruel behavior, such as taking advantage of others, each one's associated with a very distinct profile. To make those 4 different profiles, we consider 9 different factors, and that's where you get the idea of tetrad. Narcissism involves the tendency to be overly concerned with one's self-image. Machiavellianism involves a tendency to be deceitful and manipulative. Psychopathy includes callousness and lack of remorse. And sadism, the addition that makes it pathological, is a person that would receive pleasure from observing others in pain or inflicting pain on others. All right. Egoism is the first construct of the 9 that are considered in the tetrad. Egoism is a construct denoting a profound need to put oneself first. Notice I didn't say desire. It's a need. And the thing that defines it as a need is it at all costs, you must have that. It's like if you have a heroin addiction, it doesn't matter the cost. You're going to get your heroin, period. So the drive that's associated with egoism is to put oneself first, especially if it is at cost to others. In philosophy, egoism means that oneself is the motivation and goal of all actions, that your goal attainment behavior can't be separated from your identity. You are your motivations. Without your motivation and goal attainment behaviors, you would die, and therefore you have to, nobody else matters, only the attainment of your goals and needs. Machiavellianism is something that we hear much more often. It's, like I said, heavily researched, and it's a construct that denotes one's ability to do whatever necessary to get your own goals and desires attained. Any collateral damage is okay if it helps you reach your goal or get your needs met. There's an element to this, though, that takes it out of the egoism, okay? Machiavellianism is a bit different because it includes the value of other people. So to understand Machiavellianism, you have to understand that a person high in Machiavellianism, that they would look at the people that they harm in their pursuit of goal or wish fulfillment. The people that they hurt are considered collateral damage, and they are considered tools. That to hurt another person as you're climbing your way to the top of the food chain, that person was their job in life was actually to be the rung on the ladder that you stepped on. And therefore, why should you feel guilt? Why should you feel bad about hurting that person? They fulfilled their usefulness by giving you a step up to your usefulness. I mean, when I say these people high in Machiavellianism, when I say that they really think they're better than others, I'm not kidding. They look at the world as just tools and opportunity to be used and discarded. Those high Machiavellianism are not often producers. They're most often considered consumers. So they're pretty, unpleasant group of people. To put it in YouTube standards, someone high in Machiavellianism might have 10 people working with their channel, doing research to get them information, and doing everything they can to help and be there, night after night, whatever. But they never get any benefit of the channel success. They never get any recognition that they've worked and helped and done things. They're just simply the bricks that are laid under the feet of the Machiavellian psychopath. They just sit atop their throne, doing no work, demanding all the glory as you work your tails off. It's pretty ugly business. Another factor is moral disengagement. And moral disengagement establishes a condition or a setting where normal ethical standards don't apply. And so because of this ability to disengage, they can behave in a very unethical way with no worry or concern about consequences. These people, with their moral disengagement, they can concoct elaborate lies that are designed to make you look foolish and stupid. They can enact those lies with a smile on their face, knowing full well that they're lying, but it doesn't matter because the goal is for you to be taken down. And therefore anything is fair game. And so they smile, they're smug, there's duper's delight, and they establish this condition where they can, attack another channel creator and tell lies about them, and then sit back and smile as others attack that other channel owner and make them feel, bad and watch their channel fall apart. Narcissism, 1 minute, please. Okay, narcissism, it's a construct where a person has a grand self-importance. They have real delusions of grandeur. They feel superior. They look down on others, like with Machiavellianism, they look down on others as simply being a tool for the means to an end. But with this idea of narcissism, they look down on others with contempt. This is something that a lot of people really suffer with when they're in these toxic relationships. The narcissist starts by love bombing. When you're sucked into the madness and you think you've found your handsome prince, then remember, the narcissist is flawed. The narcissist is an empty, broken vessel. And it's only the mirror outside of themselves that reflect back to the world what's in front of them. And so they have love bombed this object. And then at some point, because they know that they're nothing, they know they're flawed and broken and empty, they look at the object, the person that they have idealized, and they go, well, wait a minute. Why am I idealizing this person? Why am I making this person worthy to be with me? Obviously, I'm no good. Obviously, I'm broken and flawed. Therefore, there must be something wrong with that person to want to be with me. And I can't have that. I'm a special person. I can't have somebody who's broken and flawed being in a relationship with me because it reflects badly on me. And therefore, I hate them. With the narcissist, there's no gray area. It's just all good or all bad. And so that disengagement, the discard process that starts, it really does start with this paradox of I'm special. I thought this person was special too. They love me, yet I'm not special. Secretly, I know I'm a real messed up human being. Why would this special person care about a messed up being? Obviously, they must be really messed up too. And therefore, I hate them. They're not going to reflect well on me. And how bad that they tricked me. I hate them. And so then the abuse cycle begins, and then the discard. Never mistake this from a narcissist. Just because you've been discarded doesn't mean that they don't still own you. Once you're discarded, your job is then to remain miserable. Remember that sadistic element. They're getting narcissistic supply from your misery. And if you begin to get healthy again, it could trigger them to come back into your life and try to hoover you back to them and start the process all over again. I mean, they use the word toxic for a reason. It's very sick to get involved with these people. Okay, another factor construct is that of psychopathy. And psychopathy, remember, originally in the Dark Triad, this was a sub-pathological or subclinical level of psychopathy. Psychopaths lack empathy and shame over their actions. They are often, well, I would say they're always reckless and impulsive. I think that's, I don't know why they said often engaged. I think it's probably expected. Psychopathy includes reckless and impulsive behavior. Many people describe them as thrill seekers. They nearly always they'll describe dreams where there's violence or aggression. They're thrill seekers. Psychopaths do not appear to experience corrective emotion like guilt or embarrassment. There is an argument within the field of researchers. Some researchers believe they're not experiencing really any level of emotion per se. Other researchers say, no. I think they must be experiencing some type of pleasurable reactions at some time. They just don't seem to have the corrective emotions like guilt or shame, that kind of thing. I am of the opinion that after reading Hare's work and whatnot, I'm of the opinion they're really not getting much discernment in emotion. They don't seem to really be experiencing happiness or sadness. How many of you guys saw Bryan walk across the stage to get his master's degree? If you saw it, put a 1. He walks across the stage and he doesn't look any different in his face than his mugshot from when he's been charged with murder, 4 deaths. No, he's not happy when he finishes his master's degree. He's not frightened when he gets arrested for 4 homicides and felony burglary, death penalty. There's just not really anything. I don't believe that a psychopath, they really are not getting any the emotions are not divided. There's nothing there. My husband changed like Jekyll and Hyde as soon as we got home from the honeymoon. Completely different person. Because he's playing a role, right, Knitting? He's playing a role. All right. Let me go back to my thing here. Okay. The 6th construct is psychological entitlement. And this is one that just irritates me so bad when I run across these people that have such a strong level of psychological entitlement. Psychological entitlement is like a factor where the person truly believes, like they're not thinking about it. it's instinctive. They're just doing it. It's because it is who they are, right? Where they literally do believe that they're better than others. I've got a bad typo right there. I'm sorry. They truly believe they're better than others. They feel like they're entitled to being treated special. And if you commit the egregious sin of not recognizing that they're special somehow, then, 30 lashes for you. They'll be held to pay. You're an awful, evil, horrible human being if you don't give them what they're entitled to look up to them and give them respect and give them undying devotion and loyalty. That sounds like somebody we know on YouTube, doesn't it? But then you stop because you're healthy and you're intelligent. And you go, wait a minute, why am I pledging undying loyalty to this person when the only thing I've ever seen this person do is humiliate and embarrass other people? Why am I doing that? I don't know. That's your problem. Figure out the narcissist, the person that's suffering from this dark tetrad. They're just demonstrating psychological reactants, one of which is they have an internal entitlement that says, I am special. I am entitled to your worshipful gaze. And if you don't give it to me, I don't have to earn it. I don't have to do things to reflect that I'm great. It's your job to just know that I'm great. And if you're dumb enough to push back and say, well, prove you're great, well, then, there's going to be hell to pay. I may banish you and ostracize you completely off of, YouTube. I may follow you around from channel to channel and shame you and humiliate you so you can't make any new friends because you had the audacity to say, but wait a minute, what are you doing that makes you so special? Can't do that. Don't question them. All right. The last three of the constructs related to the dark tetrad is this element of sadism. Sadism is the enjoyment in witnessing causing others pain. Also, an intense self-interest, desiring social and financial success above anything else. They don't care about relationships. They don't care about friendships. They don't care about anything like that. It's only about, do I have social status and am I considered a financial success? People that are having trouble and they are narcissists or psychopaths or whatever, if they try to embarrass or humiliate another person, they will reveal themselves. Why? Because they will make fun of your lack of financial success, number one. Ooh, you're poor. Ooh, you don't own any Tory Burch boots. Oh, I have a Chanel purse. What do you have? So they'll make fun of your, oh, you don't own a house. Oh, you just have a little small kitchen. Look at my big kitchen that I have. I'm a better person than you because I have a big kitchen, right? They'll attack your financial success or lack thereof, or they'll come after your social standing. Oh, well, I have a YouTube channel and I have 29,100 subscribers. How dare you say that I have 28,700 subscribers? You know how many I have. You're just trying to make me look bad by robbing me of 500 subscribers. So that's the kind of crap that you get from them, is this. They will attack you based on your social and financial success, but really look at what they're saying to you. They're really telling you that that is the thing that would embarrass them, that would shame them. And we did talk about that today with Bryan. We talked about how in the phone call to T-Rev, that his accusations toward the fraternity, that somebody said, oh, if I can commit this murder, then all the guys will see, that I am a man. He basically told us what motivates him. It's pretty chilling to listen to. If y'all don't, if y'all weren't here for this afternoon's live, y'all should go and listen to it at the end of this. It was pretty good. I felt like it was a really good one, specific to Bryan Christopher. And then spitefulness, and that is being destructive toward others, being willing to cause harm, even if it hurts you. You know, the old cut your nose off to spite your face, right? And ultimately, you look at this guy, Bryan, and that's kind of what he did, isn't it? I mean, he's got a pretty good life. He's relatively young. He's got his master's degree. He's been accepted into a PhD program, which is a very difficult process. He has got great resources, already knowing this world-renowned criminologist and author that could write him letters of recommendation or whatnot. And he's a teaching assistant. And rather than just buckling down and working hard a couple of years and getting his PhD, having a good life, he absolutely sacrificed everything in the hopes that one day he would be a Ted Bundy, and that people would look up to him and say, wow, that is a man. That's a real man, you know? Oh, he's smarter than we are. We can't catch him. We should have movies and about this guy. This is that impulsive nature that I was talking about earlier with psychopathy. They just lose it. Now, if you add in the Machiavellian factor, that gives them that demonstrates that they have some control. So they're having these daydreams. They're engaging in their delusions of grandeur, but they also recognize they need to have a viable plan. And so they kind of follow this heuristic and try to, engage in goal-directed behavior, right? What we saw here, I think, was a guy that lost it. And that was the power of the psychopathy, that once he kind of got into the fantasy of what he was going to do, and like I said, I think it was little Buddy. I think when he made the leap and did what he did to Buddy, I think he lost it at the point. At that point, the psychopathic features were driving the ship, not the Machiavellian planning and plotting. All right. Let's see. So those are the last 3 of those 9 factors related to the Dark Tetrad. I did egoism's excessive need to put your own needs first. Motivations and goal attainment. Machiavellianism is a term used to denote a master manipulator who is mercenary in nature. Collateral damage and believe in tools to support their desires and goal attainment efforts. Man, I hate entitled people. I hate the effects of entitled people. All right. These are a little bit different than my my slides are. Moral disengagement establishes a condition where normal ethical standards don't apply. This means one can behave unethically without worrying about the consequences. Self-important with delusions of grandeur. This is this guy right here. His delusions of grandeur are so evident. Oh, I doubled that slide, didn't I? Y'all can see I was hurrying. And there's the last. That's the last one. Okay, all done. Okay, now then, if you don't mind, while I'm trying to get the other part up and running, Please do a thumbs up. That will help my little channel struggling with the algorithm. So I would appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. Let me go through and say, okay, 48 Laws of Power. That book made me actually cry and feel awful. My God, I'm so sorry. It is a ruthless way of life. Yeah, and if you're an empath, you know, people can, look, I read this interesting article about if people can learn to become Machiavellian, right? No, you've got to understand you are who you are. And if you are a person who what we now, I think what is known as an empath at this point, right? It would be a painful experience to live this sort of life. So not all of us are designed to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Some of us are not designed to live that life. We're actually much better being artistic or helping, you know, being a part of the helping arts. So just because you learn about these things, it doesn't mean that they're goals. It can just be a factor of understanding the world around you, or a little bit of information can kind of just deepen your comprehension of maybe some of the people that may have hurt you in the past. And let's face it, education is never bad. Education's always a good thing. Hey, Beagle Mama. So he could see into their home from where he lived and yet could do that to their pet. Oh, what did Beagle Mama say? Hold on. Let's see. Beagle Mama, what did you say? Hold on, I'm looking for Beagle Mama. Hi, Susan Art Studio. Welcome. Oh. Yeah, there's so many people. The girls turned in his drug packages. He lost 2 kilos of cocaine. Who did? Positive Vibes? Oh, and I agree with you, Beagle Mama. She is disgusting. She has dished out more pain. It's unbelievable. The professor smiled at Bryan as he handed him his diploma, and Bryan just looked at him with a dead face and kept walking. Yeah, it's shocking, and you can almost see the professor sort of flinch. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I'm not quite sure, Beagle Mama, why you guys were talking about this 2 kilos of cocaine. What is that about? There you go, knitted artisan. Yeah, it's the best revenge is having an educated ass. You know what I mean? That's what you're trying to find out. Interesting. So are you guys trying to say that Bryan, that he's a drug dealer? I just don't know. I've not seen this. What you guys are talking about? I haven't seen anything about it. Okay, so now, in light of the information that I just went over, which was a fairly concise information about the Dark Triad versus the Dark Tetrad and why they added the Tetrad and blah, 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 what the utility and all that. I wanted to do that because I wanted to look at this disturbing video through the eyes of a reflection of Bryan Christopher Kohberger, right? Like, it's not just enough to see this. It's not just enough to say, oh, look, he uploaded this. There's something else going on here that I think it demands some attention. And that is this. He cleaned up his social media. Now, we don't know if he did it before the murders. I suspect it was before, okay? And we don't know if he did it after the murders as like a reaction. I don't think so. I think that was one thing that John Kelly, and I agreed on. And that was, the guy was really, he was educated. He was prepared. He had a plan. He had been hunting these girls a long time. He did not leave anything to chance. He was careful. And again, one of the reasons that I'm so certain of that is because I believe that these elements from the Dark Tetrad show us that his goal was that he wants to be one of the greats. He wants to be validated as a man by showing that he measures up. Exactly what we heard in T-Rev's phone call. He said it, his own words. So he's acting out a movie role in his head. In some ways, he's like a character actor. He's immersed himself in the role of a serial killer. He's been practicing it for years as a criminologist or a bachelor's degree in psychology. He was probably spending a lot of time reading abnormal psych and whatnot. He admires people that are able to commit heinous crimes over and over again and not get caught. He likes those movie characters that make the cops look stupid, that the criminal, the killer is smarter than the cops, right? He likes that. He identifies with that serial killer. And so that's what he wants to be the next Bundy. He wants to be the next Dahmer. He wants that. He believes, just like he said about the guys in the fraternity, that they were just trying to fit in and show that they were smart, and show that they were manly, and show that they were strong, and it got out of hand. And oopsie, I accidentally killed 4 people when really I only intended to kill 1. But hey, at least I showed my friends in the fraternity that I measure up. That's what he said, y'all. And those words were prefaced by me on my channel for weeks. From the very beginning when this happened, I said, this feels like serial killer type of psychopathy. This feels like a guy being motivated by fantasy and titillation. And that he's identifying with the romance and the role of being a Luther, like character, right? Or Dexter type of character. So all of that being said, he's so methodical. He's planned and done everything. If he's cleaned up all of his internet, then why the hell did he leave this video up? He's in the true crime crap. He knows fully well that everybody's going to be watching. Everybody's going to be looking for things and making YouTube videos. He knows this, right? He's watching us. Or he was. He's not now, but he was. Why leave this up for us to find? Like, what is the significance in this video that might tell us something? All right? So that's remember what we talked about with the psychological, the Dark Triad versus the Dark Tetrad. The addition of sadism to the original triad makes it a pathological thing. And tell me, is this video demonstrating sadistic behavior? People can be violent. People can attack and beat people up and do all those things. That happens. But this guy didn't smile when he got his master's degree. But he's sending us a smile after showing us violence. He's sending everybody that's researching him. Look at his name up there. Bryan Christopher Kohberger, original audio. This is for us. This is for us to find after the murders, after it all comes out. This, he's smiling, he's laughing at us. He couldn't smile to get his diploma, but this would make him smile. Okay, trigger warning again. This is violent imagery. There's bloody imagery. It doesn't last very long. You may want to close your eyes or put your hand over the screen or whatever, if that sort of thing bothers you. Okay? Now, one thing I want to know, I think this probably came from like the dark web, right? I think it probably came from the dark web, the actual video part of it. But one thing that I'm curious about, I've seen a few people that have brought up Inan Harsh, and they somehow believe that Bryan Kohberger and Inan Harsh are connected. They know each other somehow. I don't know how. I'm not the one putting that out there. I'm telling you what they've said. But when I only look at the video portion of this, I have to wonder, you know, Inan had the whole hand-to-hand combat thing. So it's kind of interesting to consider, right? I don't know if it's true. Inan was the first to bolt. Remember? He ran. So I can only guess the cops have probably got a tail on him, watching every move he makes. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. So it's like, okay, well, so the guy's frantically looking for a weapon, and he's looking, and he can't find things. Keeps looking, finds something. And now there's some sort of like revenge happening here, right? Gonna clean up the mess. Now watch. So he's saying, yeah, I beat him. I made him sorry for what he did, and I'm getting arrested, and I don't care. Because it doesn't matter that there's going to be consequences. Remember the tetrad? Doesn't matter if there's going to be consequences. At least I got my revenge. At least I did what I wanted to do. So this content made Bryan Christopher Kohberger happy. His master's degree attainment did not, but this did. It's fairly chilling, isn't it? It's very frightening. There's that sadistic delight. That's it. We saw the same sadistic delight from Chris Watts when he did the sermon from the porch. Same smiles. Oh, well, how do you feel? Your family's not home. He couldn't even answer without laughing. Right? All right. I'm trying to find something to put up that how about that? Okay. All right, let me read some comments. I very rarely catch you live due to the time difference and an inability to watch a screen. Since there are very few images or clips, have you ever thought of a podcast? I don't know, Countess. I'm not really very tech savvy. Entitlement is my trigger. Sending healing energy your way. Thank you, Deb. I need some healing energy. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. However, Brian, actually, you're a low life loser. Agreed, see my tutu. The masked man had some poofy lips and hooded eyelids. You know, I thought about the masked guy. He does have a really pronounced upper lip. I think that's kind of interesting. He did absolutely believe he was going to get away with this, Sunshine Princess. He absolutely believed it. Maybe, Krista. I wondered the same. Yeah, John Wayne Gacy. This is another thing I wanted to bring up too. So as I'm going through it, I'm watching this guy and giving this some thought. There's elements of different famous serial killers, right? The most notable is obviously Ted Bundy and the sorority murders, right? But let's think about John Wayne Gacy for a moment. When he got arrested, when they caught him, what did he say? Do y'all know? There's a pattern, Callie Dime. John Wayne Gacy said, "Did you arrest the others?" Isn't that interesting? Did you arrest the others? That's the first thing he said when they're arresting him. I think this guy, because he's not brilliant, he's not unique. He's just a screwed up, messed up mess who wants to be significant. He just wants to matter, right? He's like a little boy. And rather than him being unique and being himself, all he did was to go back to serial killers that he had studied in his classes, and he took elements of each of those and he's using their stuff. I think he's got the whole dog mutilation. That's Dahmer. He's got Ted Bundy and the sorority murders. Now we find out that when he's arrested, he says, "Well, did you arrest anyone else? Or am I the only one arrested or something?" He's a copycat. Yes, inquisitive mind. He's a copycat. And so the goal then becomes, we need to go through and look at classic serial killers and see what the parallels are to what this clown did. Right? Yeah, he's just a loser. He's just a nobody. He's a nothing. He's empty, a void. He's just devoid of any real substance. No, I don't think he was on the run at all, Libcom. I agree with you. He was not on the run. He was mimicking what other people... Everything's okay here, y'all. That was actually Piddlin' Bill falling down and breaking everything in the living room in the dark. So it's okay. All right. He's going to want to get back to Idaho quick to give the impression at least that he was not on the run. He's going to 100% say that he's innocent of everything. And he did it on Manson's birthday. So there was the homage to the great, right? The great unwashed. It'd be crazy if he tries to defend himself like Ted Bundy. No, I don't think so. I think he's got him an attorney. He is trying to appear to be smarter than all the other well-known serial killers and succeed at what they did not. Similar to the Columbine kids and their mentality, obsessed with Manson. It's, yeah, absolutely inquisitive mind. I agree with you. Yeah. Do you think his classmates called in his odd behavior to the tip line? We know of some that actually did, Heidi. Yeah, they are being vocal. Yeah, I think he's really sad because his favorite glass got broken. Your glass? You didn't break your glass? No. Good. Oh, it was full, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Everybody says they're really sorry. They're not laughing. His birth date, River Queen. He's born November 22nd. Yeah, lots of 1122 duplications. There was a lot of that with him too. Yeah, he's a sick guy, y'all. He is pathological. He is really messed up in the head. -1 Vincina. I don't know what that -1 means. Ruined a perfectly good drunk, though. No, he's not drunk. He doesn't drink. It'd be a good excuse. He said it'd be a really good excuse to start, though. He is okay, knitting artisan. Well, I did ask him if he was hurt. I did silence the microphone and say, "Are you?" Broken toes. I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "That didn't sound good." He said, "No, it didn't." We had a guy in my class at WSU too. Oh, you were at WSU, Angelina? Really? I don't think, are you contradicting? I don't think so. Bryan Christopher Kohberger birthday. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. His birthday is November 21st, not November 22nd. November 21st, 1994. Okay, this brings me to another thing I wanted to talk about. We have a little bit of information that's come out. I'm uncomfortable with it. Let me just say that, okay, right off the bat. I'm uncomfortable. And y'all will remember that we're here this afternoon. I said, where did this information come from? Did you get that information from the maternal side of the family, the paternal side of the family? Are these people that are in the close family? Are they extended family? Like, where are you getting the information from? And here's what I've found out. So the information about him demanding new pots and pans that had never been touched by meat. This was said to have happened in Las Vegas in 2017. And this was the sister, hold on, let me get it right in my head. It is the father, Michael, Michael's brother, the brother's ex-wife. Yeah, pretty extended. Can we agree? Sort of like Bill and his favorite cup. Pretty far removed from each other at this point after the big breakup. So she came up with so to be clear, this is the father of Bryan, his brother, which would be Bryan's uncle, his divorced wife, not even the current aunt, a divorced aunt, is the one that said that they were at a wedding in Las Vegas and Bryan demanded new pots and pans that had never been touched by meat. And that was the scariest antidote that she had. And Ashley Banfield pressed the reporter and so I don't care about these little anecdotes. I think Ashley recognized there were some kind of dumb, little stories. And she said, were they shocked? Like when you told them your ex-nephew has been arrested for the heinous murder of these 4 young people at college, was she shocked? Was there crying? Was there panic? I mean, was there anything to show distress? And the reporters was like, no, like they didn't even act like anything. They were just kind of like, meh, you know, that's weird. So I don't know. It sort of makes me think, are we sure that they even knew the guy? Were they just kind of trying to, they were contacted and they were like, yeah, this kid, yeah, I was married a couple of years, this guy, and he had a nephew. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. I didn't know the guy. So I don't really put a lot of, I'm not going to really factor in those stories, the information from those stories. I'm not really going to factor them in right now to my profile. I'm going to wait a bit and hey, we're going to be here, people. We're going to be here for a long time. I just have a couple of words for you here. Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell. It's all Idaho. It's all Idaho. So things don't go very fast in the courtrooms of Idaho, I don't think. So I'm not going to get all excited and include this, oh, he had an eating fetish. Well, I don't think wanting cookware untouched by meat, that does not rise to the level of fetish or voyeuristic delight or anything like that. It's not technically the definition of a fetish. It's peculiar. It's more of like a obsessive compulsion kind of thing. I would say this too. Can I just go ahead and say this without a family member? The guy, in terms of where he is on this whole Dark TETRAD, yes, I can promise you there are OCD behaviors. Without ever talking to him, yes, he has compulsions. 100%. To kill those people were compulsions. There were compulsions. Yes, he is obsessed. You have to be obsessed to plot and plan for the murder of at least 2 people. There has to be some obsession. Okay? So we don't need these weird stories of pots and pans and, oh, it's a fetish. No, first of all, you're wrong, and your reporting is not a fetish. Doesn't even rise to the definition of fetish at all. And no, you're not telling us something interesting. The guy is responsible for what looks to be the ritualistic slaughter of 4 young people after having been stalked and hunted. Yes, we know he's got some OCD stuff going on. We know that. It's a part of why he was able to carry it out. What do you think? Happy New Year, Mrs. Kelly.
Good New Year, yeah.
It's the only one we've seen so far, Mary Rose. People are still looking, but he definitely cleaned up his social media. Thank you so much. Okay, so everybody good on the whole idea that in order to have done what he did, we can pretty well accept OCD is in his list of diagnoses. Everybody good with that? Oh yeah, I can see, I'll tell you this, Kathy, I can see a hunger strike on him. I can see him refusing to eat at all. And he's, so I hear, oh, the guy's on suicide watch. And a lot of people go, oh, that's so sad. It's so sad. And when he's on suicide watch, he's probably getting all cushy, eider down quilts and and goose down pillows, and he's probably, getting tucked in and pampered with chocolate chip cookies before bed. Nope. The very last thing you ever want to do if you're going to jail, you don't want to give them any reason at all to think you might be suicidal, because you're basically going to be subjected to hell on earth. Those of you, I know Zelda's worked at the prison. Anybody in here that's worked in the prison, have you ever seen what they do to people that are on suicide watch? It is not encouraging. They're not like patting him and going, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey, that you'll find a reason to live." No, they, depending on where you are, like if you're at a state prison, they'll strip you of all your clothes and chain you to the floor. Okay, so Mrs. Kelly can tell us, do you want to be on suicide watch if you're in prison, Mrs. Kelly? He's on suicide watch for his safety. It is horrible, Kathy. It is horrible. I don't think that's what was at play, Diane. I know that does happen in cases of schizophrenia and whatnot, that he's way too organized to be schizophrenic. No, he is not schizophrenic. Turtle suit. Thank you, Inquisitive Mind. Yes, Inquisitive Mind. You would not believe the number of people that went after me and attacked me. There's a no, talking about Billy Joe Howell. No, she's wearing a bulletproof vest. I said, "No, honey, that is not a bulletproof vest. That is a turtle suit." And a turtle suit is what they put on a person they believe is suicidal. They immediately take all their clothes off to reduce any chance of using clothing as a weapon to harm themselves. And then they put them in this padded turtle suit that is virtually impossible to be used as a tool of death. And everybody attacked me and said, "You don't know what you're talking about. That is absolutely a bulletproof vest." I was like, "That is not Kevlar. That's good old-fashioned quilting with very, very heavy fabric." So thank you for recognizing. Yet again, we have another turtle suit. And this time it's on Bryan. Yeah. Yeah, it's not schizophrenia. He's too well organized. It quits the mind. It's pretty unbelievable, isn't it? Right, Kelly? Yeah. Absolutely true. Truth sets free. Yeah. So schizophrenia is like the kind of the queen, Mother Mary of all mental illnesses. And the reason that it is considered that is that it affects every single system. The person has a thought disorder, a mood disorder, a behaviorally, they have some movement problems. Yeah, it schizophrenia is devastating neurologically. So no, he did not complete his master's, get accepted into a PhD program with interviews and all that. Teaching classes at a college. No, he doesn't have schizophrenia. Who's spreading that? Is there a channel that's saying he could be schizophrenic or listening to voices in his head? He's not. It's not that condition. He will try to outsmart everyone. Well, I might take a bit of issue with that, Susan, only for this reason. Yeah, that is true, Lipcom. Schizophrenics are more likely to be on the receiving end of violence rather than being the perpetrators of violence. Thank you. I absolutely agree. I question this idea that he might try to outsmart people. I think his main goal, and you got to remember, keep the tetrad in mind. So his main goal is to be special, to measure up to the guys, right? To be seen as a masculine, person that should be respected, yada yada. I think he'll never admit to anything that he will perceive as making him look weak or ordinary. I think he would prefer to get the death penalty than to ever be ordinary. That's what I think. I don't think he's going to deny. I think he's going to enjoy the battle. He's going to like all the attention. He's going to like people talking about him and writing about him. And he'll never admit what he did, I don't think. If my conceptualization of him is accurate, he won't. He'll go through the whole trial. Probably will not take the stand. He might. I could be wrong about that part of it. But no, he's not ever going to admit to anything that he thinks makes him look weak. He won't do that. He would rather, there are worse things than getting the death penalty, and one of those is to be looked at as ordinary. That's one thing he can't tolerate. He will talk in circles and toss word salad, thinking he's so smart. It looks like he wrote a script for his life based on serial killers and assume he didn't think he was going to be caught. I wonder what was next in line. Well, I kind of believe that he's killed before. And I think Frank, oh gosh, I can't remember Frank's last name. I'm sorry, Frank. John Kelly's friend, the cop. What's his name? Frank Giacomo? Frank. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Frank. So Frank's kind of like me. He thinks this guy's killed before. I think he's killed before too. I don't think this was the first one. Well, he's almost smiling in his mugshot, River Queen. It's really subtle. Well, Ruth Ann, I'm not saying that it's manly. I'm characterizing how he is viewing things. What he said himself on T-Rev's channel. That I'm not saying that that's true. That's what I think. Exactly, Tommy. Because they have to develop their confidence, right? Not yet's getting Nona, but I'd be willing to bet I know who did it. Yeah, Shalimar. Now it's going to turn into this game where he's going to have to demonstrate to the lawyers and the cops how much smarter he is. He'll be smug. He'll be dismissive. He'll play little word games. I have two words here. Jodi Arias. Who remembers that debacle? Do you remember that? This is another Jodi Arias, except he's the male version. That's what we've got to look forward to. Who's excited? If you're excited to be confronted with another Jodi Arias, put a 1. If you're rolling your eyes and going, oh, hell no, put a 2. Yeah, I think so, Anne Frank. He looks smug. We do need Tammy Lee encoder. I don't think it's his first time. This guy studied crime. He disconnected from others and he planned this. Yeah, I think he's very methodical. I feel sorry for his attorneys. They will have a rear guard. Oh man, it's going to be terrible, Spudler. It's going to be terrible. It's going to do you remember, I don't know if you were around during the whole Jodi Arias, era. Do you guys remember her poor attorney? This guy was begging the judge every week, please, I hate her, judge. She hates me, judge. We don't want to work together. We can't work together. We aren't working together. Please let me off this case. And the judge said, sorry, nobody else will take the case. You got to stay. Who remembers that? The man got disbarred because of his, interactions with Jodi Arias. And how many lives did Jodi Arias ruin during the course of the trial? I mean, she had psychologists that got in trouble. She had a therapist that lost her license to practice. I mean, the woman is a wrecking machine. This guy's going to be the same way. Exactly, Angelina. I agree. Oh my God, Spudler. The poor man lost like 300 pounds, right? Yeah, this was not easy for her attorney. He was really, it was awful. The prosecutor lost his job. Won. Oh my God, it was awful. It was a bloodbath. The woman, yeah, I think he's another Jodi Arias. Ooh, Iris Eaton. Yeah, I don't know. Is she death penalty certified? Well, yeah, she must have been, right? Oh no, Barry wouldn't have had death penalty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this guy's got enough money to look attractive to Iris. You know what I mean? She only does it for the good of mankind,
Innocent people.
Is she leads with love? Oh, absolutely. He would hate it, inquisitive mind. Absolutely. Yes. It's terrifying, Mrs. Kelly. Currently, Bryan has a public defender. Remember watching Jodi live here with everyone. It was classic. Very best time on the tubes. Thank you, River Queen. You can go back to the Jodi Arias trial and watch it over and over again, seeing different things every time, right? Yeah, this is new. This guy is going to be it. If they allow cameras in the courtroom, it's just going to be the same. It's just going to be nonstop, never-ending drama. It's just going to be drama, drama, drama. A serial killer in Seattle. Yeah, I assume he'll have to have a attorney that's licensed in Idaho. Waukesha around too. Oh, Jodi is like a national treasure. That it was pretty crazy, wasn't it, Lise? Like she would come in, she would have she basically got a makeover to look just like what was the female attorney's name? Not Robin. What's her name? Shoot, I can't remember her name now. No, Jennifer Wren, you are not blocked. Yeah, I think somebody young and hungry will want want the job. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Jennifer. Why are you panting? Those fireworks are not going to hurt you, little dog. You're okay. So Macy, the little gray wolf dog, is terrified right now. I wonder if law enforcement has searched other murders in Pennsylvania and Idaho. Oh, I'm sure that'll be a part of this pickups. I think it's coming, right? It's kind of hard to, like, the whole the couple that was killed in their bed with a knife. That's pretty close, and the timing on it was, there's an unsolved death in Pennsylvania. It was an attack with a knife. I think the guy was killed like on the side of the road. There's that one, and that would have occurred like in 2018. So there's some possibilities. News about Barry. Yeah, AK said something. He kind of made kind of an unusual comment earlier. I didn't draw attention to it, but it was sort of suggesting that, Barry vacationing in Aspen won't be lasting much longer. I don't know what that means. Hey, there was a murder that happened during an Elton John concert. And the little bit, I think it was his mother's social media. When I went through and looked at his mother's social media, it showed her and him at the Elton John concert. So he's put, I believe it was in Utah. "19 times? Wow. Yeah, I think he's a copycat, Gemma. Not complete, but taking elements of different killers. They found Barry's missing miles and have been checking places out. Yeah, he has a thesis. I haven't been able to find it yet. It's possible the college took it down. Now, if it's housed in another college, then I should be able to get it. Fact check. False claim serial killer. You will find it. And that's about the Seattle. This guy is superior, and we need to be documented, if you know what I mean. I don't think so. Coffee and Conversation. Tell us about it. That sounds interesting. So Coffee and Conversation said, did you see the TikTok from the person who was in a class that he was a teaching assistant for? Sure. I think that was probably a part of it, Countess Viviana. Fireworks ablaze on the north side of town. But it's only 9:40. Why are they? Oh, you mean it's an accidental igniting? Fireworks ablaze. Now you got me thinking something big is happening. Let's get on Twitter. See if Houston is on fire. Houston. Ooh, a rare sight of a moose shedding his antlers. That's kind of cool. No, I don't see anything to suggest that we've got a problem in North Houston. Other than the obvious, you know. I can try Houston fireworks. Only in Houston. Listen to this. City of Houston's mayor, police, and fire chiefs are warning people that the use of fireworks and celebratory gunfire are illegal in the city limits. Yet that's how people down at the Galleria celebrate, by shooting their 9mm into the air. It's such a proud time to be living in Houston. Yeah, I don't see anything about anybody going crazy in Houston. Melbourne is having their fireworks. Australia. I'm in Houston. I don't know if what I'm hearing is fireworks or gunshots. I'm telling you, Houston's gotten real bad, y'all. "911 for emergencies. Reporting illegal use of fireworks is not a reason to call 911. Okay, just a bunch of warnings that it's illegal to use fireworks in the city limits. And you can't use your guns either, people. All right. Let's see where oh my goodness. Somebody was very kind. Lead with love. You're a sweetheart. A round of drinks on me. Happy New Year's. Thank you so much, Leads with Love. You are a sweetheart, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. It's both in Houston. Oh, what is this? Travis Jutton and wife Jamie Lynn Silverton, August 2021, Oregon. Masked man. He stabbed 26 times. Her 19, and she lived. Yeah, I think that's one of those that I think could be him, right? I heard his sister lived next door to the victim's house. Is this true? Don't know, Viviana. I don't know. There's so many rumors right now. I don't know. Yeah, Galveston is 100% better in terms of being safe. We don't typically get caught in gun crossfire in Galveston like you do up in the Galleria. Hey, Callie, welcome. No, a little bit. Not the Dark Triad. It's called the Dark Tetrad. And if you go to the beginning of this video, I basically teach the whole lesson. So you can find out what the Dark Tetrad is. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Kelly. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Many shoot their guns because fireworks are banned. The redneck fireworks have started already. Yeehaw! Okay. Don't be scared, Drover. You're okay. All the dogs are terrified right now. You hear him crying? They're all terrified except for little Sage. Sage is laying on her back, snoring up a storm. Martin Smallwood, absolutely grateful for all the hours of time and effort you've put toward the justice for Suzanne. It is amazing what you and AK have done. It's amazing. I'm telling you something, Martin. Barry did not count on you guys. He thought, I'm out here in the middle of the woods, little small town. Nobody is going to be thinking about this 6 months from now. I'm going to get her inheritance and I'm home free, right? All he had to do was make up a lie for parental alienation with his daughters. That's all he had to do. He never counted on you guys. He never counted on the YouTube true crime community. He had no idea that there would be people out there that actually cared. I still think he just planned this. The murder was the escalation. Stalking random people or breaking into houses without being seen or evidence feels more likely as a PhD student. Let's see, where is the question by Coffee and Conversation? I'm looking for Coffee and Conversation. People call 911 for everything, though. Apparently, a few years back, 911 got overflooded with calls when Facebook went down. Wow. People, I think we're getting dumber as a population. I'm interested how the difference in grading plays into psychology. Wait. What is it? What? I'm interested how the difference in grading plays into the psychology. He showed his power over the victims, so he doesn't need to show his power over the students. Well, okay. Oh, before that one? Tiffy Richardson, welcome. It will be a great day, Tiffy. Before that, let me see. I don't see another question, Coffee. Oh, I found it. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, I found it. Okay, so Bryan did not show up much, was kind of quiet. He did show up after the murder. Before the murder, he was a hard grader with lots of comments. After the murder, he gave everyone hundreds. Okay, so there's a couple of factors here. He would, okay, theoretically, like I don't know this to be true, but it just would fit, okay? Before the murders, he's still in a great deal of distress about being considered worthy and having a lack of identity and that sort of thing. So he's getting his needs met. I'm talking about his narcissistic supply. he's getting his needs met by this role of teacher's assistant. So by demonstrating that he could find mistakes that were made and being really hard about the scoring, he's sending out this message of, look how brilliant I am, right? Now, after the murders, there's a couple of things that could be going on. Number one, there's less internal pressure. He's done the ultimate, and he's now basking in the afterglow, and he's feeling like he measures up. He's feeling like a big guy. And so his job as teaching assistant, it's sort of like, I don't have anything to prove. You guys are in the presence of a monster, and I'm special because I'm the only one that knows that I could, kill you in a moment and you have no idea. So he has the control, right? Yeah, Manson's birthday, 11/12/34. And the murders were the night of November 12th, technically November the 13th in the early morning hours. Yeah. And that the house number 1122 is similar to the 1112. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that could be happening is maybe he couldn't focus on the grades. They were not as significant because he was so focused on what the cops were doing. He was so focused on watching people talking about the things he had done, and he just didn't want to be bothered. And so it was much easier to just give everybody 100 and go back to focusing on the real business at hand, which was Bryan, the evil one. Does that make sense? He is a pure vegan. What video you're talking about, Martin? His birthday is 1121. Yeah. No, he's not. It's not guilt and remorse. Absolutely not. Don't make that mistake at all. No, he's relaxed. He's in the afterglow. He's feeling good. He's feeling smug. He's feeling powerful. He likes it. Exactly, RAS. Yeah. Martin, what video are you talking about? Where can I find that, Martin? Yeah, if you can get the link, I'll play it. I don't know what that is. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Or if you've got the link, Martin. We listened to the T-Rev phone call. That was really interesting. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, I think this is the one you're talking about. This is JS for Justice channel. Okay, let me share this. Hold on. Is this the one you're talking about, Martin? Where the guy starts out saying, hey, everybody, I'm a relative to someone in that house. Is that what you're talking about? All right, well, here we go.
Hey there, to those of you interested in hearing this report, I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true. At least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed. One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force, so much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed. Here's the theory that's happening. They definitely think it was a man because of the force of the wounds. The person must have been very strong. They think the man came into the room.
Oh, he was a very strong man, right? He's a very strong guy. Everybody should be really in awe of this man's greatness, what he was able to accomplish.
After doing what they did on the second floor, they went upstairs. The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim.
Oh, cleanly and quietly. So not only is this man very powerful, he's also exercises a great deal of control and stealth.
The second victim awoke and tried to run. They believe that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly, apparently. The man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcefully.
Okay, so let's look at the reflection in this video. This person, it looks like they're wearing a mask. You see the reflection? There's the shoulder, the neck, Here's the ear. This doesn't look right. It looks like one of those white masks. Yeah, son of a bitch is playing games. Look, we can compare the shape of that ear. That guy's got an enormous ear. Let's see if we can see his mouth move.
Forcibly to quiet her, which I apologize for how I know it's disturbing, but anyway.
Oh shit, that is him, isn't it?
How
is that him? Wow, it looks like him.
wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her. He was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her.
See that brow? How harsh, how deep set his eyes are. This is him, y'all.
Which I apologize for how I know it's disturbing, but anyway, how do we know that she screamed? Because 3 individuals reported hearing a scream between 3:45 and 4 o'clock. That's why the police have such a specific time frame as to when the murders occurred. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the authorities weren't called the next day until late in the morning, yet they had a very specific time frame when the murder happened. They think the scream is why. And after reviewing video files from the neighborhood, they reviewed security cameras in the area, and they have an audio file where I haven't heard it, but I was told that you can clearly hear a loud scream from a female. That scream was recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m. Neighbors say they didn't call the police because they said there's often loud noise coming from the house. I was told that there are parties there all the time. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it's what I was told. The weapon used was a long serrated-edged hunting knife with a fixed blade. The weapon had not been in the house. The person brought it with them and took it when they left. The 2 victims were on the same bed, not side by side. One victim was found on top of the other. The reason is that the one tried to escape and was grabbed, harmed, and then shoved and fell on top of her friend. That is why there's a lot of problem blood mixtures on this at the scene. They're also desperately looking for this white car. The reason being is that it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station. I don't even know what that is, but anyway, that's, again, it could be wrong. I was just told it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station / hangout at 3:45. Now, if the scream was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame, but it is possible that the person left immediately and rushed and was seen speeding by.
Hey, what's up, Dave? You live?
Hey, what's up, man? Is this T-Rev?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not much, man. I found you today. I watched your live earlier this afternoon and been watching this one. And the thing that strikes me kind of weird about all this is that I live in a college town and I've worked with probably at least 10 Sigma Chi members. And, you know, the one thing that every single one of them I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
Inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true, at least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed. One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force, so much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed. Here's the theory that's happened.
And I just wonder if maybe this is nothing more than some kid in a fraternity trying to prove himself.
How much more in my face proof do I need?
You don't need any.
And that was it.
So you said you worked with 5 or 6 Sigma Chi kids, and they asked you if you can kill somebody, they can get away with it?
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah. And I know that's a thing that just like maybe people say, trying to like have interesting conversation, but like just in my head, it's like it's always been these dudes that were in the fraternity. And so it makes me wonder if it's a thing that's in their like culture that they ask to see how smart you are and whatever, and what kind of answer you come up with, and someone took it too far.
Recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m. Neighbors say they didn't call the police because they said there's often loud noise coming from the house. I was told that there are parties there all the time. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it's what I was told. The weapon used was a long serrated-edged hunting knife with a fixed blade. The weapon had not been in the house. The person brought it with them and took it when they left. The two victims were on the same bed, not side by side. One victim was found on top of the other. The reason is that the one tried to escape and was grabbed, harmed, and then shoved and fell on top of her friend. That is why there is there's a lot of blood mixtures on this at the scene. They're also desperately looking for this white car. The reason being is that it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station. I don't even know what that is, but anyway, that's, again, it could be wrong. I was just told it was seen speeding by an A&W. Gas station / hangout at 3:45. I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable
Okay. So I'm going to go. Can't hear you. I know. How long has it been since y'all were able to hear me? So frustrating. Do you think he was the stalker? I do, Ruthann. Yeah. Remember in the case of Stephen McDaniel, his victim, she said that she was being stalked. Ugh, I'm so sorry, Martin. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I was trying to find the information on Sweetie Pilo that y'all said. Her video, though, has got a lot of information in it. So what I want to do is I want to end this live. I really made the live to present the information on the Dark Tetrad and how it helped us get a little bit of insight into Bryan Kohberger and what he did. I do think this is going to play out in a way that he embraces the role as murderer. I think before it's over with, he's going to kind of enjoy it like Jody did, and to some extent like Lori Vallow. And then, yeah, I don't think this was technically feminicide, Countess Viviana. I think this was really more about his identity rather than a rage killing. I think he feels special. I think this was all designed to feed his ego and his narcissistic needs. I'm going to end this. I'm going to go and look through this information. I'll probably pull these phone calls and put them into my editing software, and let's try to look at them. I'll have it tomorrow. I'll have it done tonight so that we can go through it tomorrow and look at them. Okay. Femicide is not a legal term in the United States. And hola, Doctora Latina. You need to rest your voice. Hey, Thomas Randall, welcome. I was just in the lab and a viewer talked about how Bryan stalked her sister. Wow. Very interesting. Not surprised. I'm not surprised. Yeah, he's socially awkward, really curious guy. Yep. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. We'll go ahead and end this. I'll make an audio comparison of the two phone calls, and then we'll do that tomorrow. Does that sound like a good plan? All right. You guys have an absolute wonderful New Year's, ringing in the new year. It's getting very close for you guys on the East Coast. And it's just basically going to be a very long night for your poor little dogs, right? Water-loving dog, stay calm. Don't let the fireworks freak you out, okay? All right. Thank you, Dr. Latina, and Happy New Year's to you, my friend. All right, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about the phone calls, and we'll come up with a consensus on whether we believe that it's him or it's not. Okay? All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the information on the Dark Tetrad, and I hope it was information that you really had not ever really known or heard before. At least, you know, the live was somehow useful, right? So hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up. I would also invite you to subscribe if you have not already. And as always, I love to read your comments under the video. Other than that, Happy New Year. I'll see y'all next year.